Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by ICOM. For more information, visit ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation. And by DX Engineering. DX Engineering offers practically everything you need to outfit your shack, plus the fastest shipping in the industry. In-stock items ship the same day, Monday through Friday until 10 p.m. Eastern. For more information, visit dxengineering.com/HamNation. And by LegalZoom. Visit LegalZoom.com to save on your legal needs and gain access to a network of legal plan attorneys for guidance. LegalZoom is not a law firm, but provides self-help services at your specific direction. Visit LegalZoom.com and use offer code HAMNATION to receive $10 off at checkout. This is Ham Nation, episode number 148 for May 21st, 2014. We survived Dayton.
Hello, everybody. It's Bob Heil, and I have friends that I brought back from Dayton, W6IRD. How are you?
Fine. Hello, everybody. My name is Wayne, W6IRD.
And this is the best part of it, K6IRD. Sharon, how are you doing?
Well, hello, everyone. K6IRD.
We have a whole house full here, but we need to get really going with the program. We got a lot of stuff from Dayton tonight, so get ready. If you didn't go to Dayton, you'll see it here. And Valerie is here. Val, how are you? You doing okay? Did you make it back all right?
I did. I survived Dayton, and I had a blast. There was so much going on, I don't even know if we could cover it tonight.
No way can we cover it. It was really good to meet you. You know, that's the first time we met, and we had a great time. And from Contest University last week, that broadcast was terrific. So we appreciate everything from you, and look forward to a lot of stuff that's going to happen. A couple of words before we move on to Gordo and all the others. George is here. What did you think about the show this year? Did you have any comments about it? And I know you'll have some things about Contest University. What do you think about the overall show, Val?
Oh, I had so much fun. It was great to meet you guys all in person, meet some of the Ham Nation viewers and the volunteers. I was just so excited to be a part of that whole thing and do the forum. And Contest University was great. I learned a lot of cool stuff. How to work with waterfalls during contests and things like that. So definitely a lot was learned, and I had a blast meeting everybody.
Well, it was really great to see you, and I appreciate all your help. I have a couple of shots from Dayton, and let's do these real quick, and then we'll move over to Gordon. He's got a bunch of good ones. And I just had a couple specials. Brian, can you start those and run them about 6x a piece? We'll run through them real fast. And this is some of my fun that we had at Dayton. It was a great show this year. This was really amazing. This is the Collins van in 1961 or 2. They ran this around. It was a demo van. It had all of the Collins radios in it. And this was just restored by Jim. And he brought it to Dayton to see, for us to see. This is one of our after-show nets, and Steve, he was of great help to us, W7UDI, along with a whole bunch of you that volunteered. We love it. It was great. And this is the guy that I've known forever. He's one of the vice president of marketing at Exceed, and that's what's allowing me the past 3 years to have a signal back to you guys. And as long as the weather's good, it's great. There's our 100-foot booth of Heil Sound, and of course right here at the end of it is Ham Nation, where we had so much fun. And there is Simon from New Zealand, and he was one of the many that volunteered. And we really thank you guys for all your help in making Ham Nation such a great thing there. We gave 1,000 QSL cards away, and I really appreciate it very, very much. And you thought it was a good show?
Oh, it was an excellent show. We had great participation, a lot of good people. The crowds were good, a lot of activity out in the flea market, but there was a lot of good stuff inside to see and buy. I spent more money than I should have, though.
Oh, and I love Dayton. I love going there. I love going into the arena, all of the inside activities and the vendors there, and even the flea market. That is a joy to just wander around. For me, unfortunately, it was a little on the cold side, so it kept me from a little more inside than outside this time. I didn't even get to go over and help Wayne sell any of his equipment, but he did quite well on his own. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to doing it again next year.
That's great. Yeah, it was cold, and you came. I saw a Johnson Viking in your trunk, or Johnson Ranger. I'm sorry. So you did all right. Well, we're going to get moving on to Gordo. And Gordo, what was your whole outside opinion of Dayton? Did you have a good show? What did you think about Dayton this year? And I know you got a ton of pictures.
Dayton was super. And for those that couldn't make Dayton, we've got some more HamFests that friends of Ham Nation have sent us. There's one May 31st, weekend after next, a flea market at the Heartland Museum of Military Vehicles in Lexington, Lexington, Nebraska. And my pals over at Limark, Long Island Mobile Amateur Radio Club, they're having their great HamFest on June 1, weekend after next. Now, at Dayton, we met up with KI1U, Michael Corey. Michael is the Emergency Preparedness Manager for the American Radio Relay League. And I'm going to be seeing Michael, as well as many of you, weekend after next, May 30 through June 1, at the Nevada State Convention up in Virginia City. They're going to have a ARES leadership get-together, interoperability, voice over internet, exhibits, software-defined radio, satellite radio, D-Star, a one-day fast ham class. Not easy to say, and VE exams. It's going to be fun. Plus, we're also going to see Mark Twain up there. So that's weekend after next. Michael Corey, KI1U, the Emergency Preparedness Manager of the American Radio Relay League, and I will see you up there in Virginia City, Nevada. But here's the big deal. Michael clued me in. He says there's a change coming for those of us that really love emergency communications. But we can't say that anymore. He says we're now known as public service because he says, you know, we do about 80% of ham radio work doing parades and festivals and things like that. 19% of our response is for disasters, and only 1% of what we do is emergency. So he says the ARRL has tightened up the terms, and we're no longer going to be considered an emergency service. In fact, we really aren't. The 911, 911 call centers are an emergency service. Emergency alert system is the emergency service. AM, FM, TV, that's the emergency service. But ham radio is not. We are a public service, says Michael Corey. So for those of you with the patch that says Amateur Radio Emergency Service, gone. Those of you that have the ARES card, you better redo that card because it's gone as well. Your patch, that's gone. Your stickers, those are gone. No more amateur radio emergency service signs, please. In fact, I've got mine up here that we took off the car. I put some tape over it so it wouldn't dare say emergency service. Same thing with the one down there off my wagon. It's got a big thing over there. Even though the FCC rules and regulations indicate that the value of amateur radio to the public is in respect to emergency communications, that wants to be changed, says the ARRL, by tightening up their terms. Luckily, some of the other served agencies, emergency communications, I guess that's okay. This one, that's probably okay. And the San Bernardino group, we're going to be seeing them weekend after next up there. Tracy and Jody, that's going to be okay. But the ARES is going to undergo some verbal changes. And I don't know about you, but I hate not having that a word emergency. It sort of sets us apart from some of the other radio services. So work with your ARRL rep and let them know how you feel. But right now, we're considered public service, no longer an emergency communications service. Sorry for the bad news. Although we'll take a look at Dayton in just a few moments. Bob, back to you, and we'll get Brian set up with Dale's Dayton video. Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, Gordo. Well, I agree with you. It's kind of silly, and I'm not sure why they did that. But let's all write our ARRL reps and let them know what's going on. And if you're going up to the 100, let's scream real loud about it, because it's kind of silly. Yeah.
And everything they do. And ARRL is like government in that respect.
You got it. Well, let's move on here. We got some great videos from Gordo. So you want to run those and make it happen. We're ready to go, Brian. Let's see what the activity was at Dayton.
All right. Thanks to Dale. Dale is the one that came up with these great shots. But the weather was not too bad. We only had one tornado, 4 thunder showers, and 1 hailstorm. But 80% of the time, you could see at the outside swap meet where Wayne and Sharon were always prowling around, there was some neat stuff. And if you're into Motorola radios, they were dumping them everywhere. These were going for like 20 to 40 bucks a piece. If you needed that hard-to-find relay, Wayne, there you go. That's my amp relay that you helped salvage. They're there. Tons and tons of antennas, 3H24 thread, and the military radio folks were there in formation. And look at this radio. This was on, I can't remember, I think it was 6 meters, but they did a great job of really showing off military radios. Discone antennas, again, as you can see, the weather was not too bad, although it was a little on the chilly side. Everything was like a $5 table until Sunday, and then it was $1 table. Now, look at this. These are $10,000 and $15,000 rigs going for like $1,000 for that test equipment. And antenna coils, you know, the hams were selling anything and everything, and it was fun to watch the flea market hams sort of looking and seeing. And there was a good day, not a lot of water on the ground at that particular location. And if ever you needed a tube, boy, you would find it at the Dayton outside flea market. And if you want to double check that you're not irradiating yourself too much, they have Geiger counters there. And a lot of advertising on the back and the front of hams. Make offer. I think that's for a piece of equipment. Wayne, look at that. I'm looking for that knob. I think I found it right there. Sharon pointed it out. And this fellow was way too organized. He was like going through there and picking and choosing. You'd see displays like this. These were not the least expensive products when they're all nicely packed up like that. Oh, I like this. A Bird 10,000 watt dummy load, only $1,700. And there's Mr. Mendelson. And of course, Mendelson had that 2 to 250 foot booth outside. If you needed a slug for a bird, there were plenty of slugs there. And of course, the hairdos or the hats. And Dale being a hat guy, we had all sorts of hats. Kids were certainly there in force, and it was fun to see some of these great kids. And there's our kit builder, and Joe did a nice job of showing off his electrified hat. And everybody had a name tag, so you knew who they were. But the best part in the Dayton was, of course, the food. Yeah, you got to have burgers out there, and they had plenty of them. The Dayton food and this tent for sale, 10 by tent, only $225. It went down in price. Plus, it went down in the wind a little later on. Now, one of the neat things that we find at Dayton is on the inside exhibits. So, Brian, if you'll come back to me, I'll show what I felt was great. This comes from Radio City. And what it is, it's about 10 to 15 bucks. They come with the leads, and they either have a voltmeter or an amp meter, or if you want volts and amps, go to radioinc.com. And this is really neat. A little tiny meter draws next to nothing. All of the components are built right into the back of it. And Radio City was selling these for well under 25 bucks. And somewhere someone said they were going like $10 to $15. But Radio Inc. So Dayton was a big success. We look forward to seeing everybody in a couple weeks up in Nevada at Virginia City. And again, we'll give you more input as to what in the world is going on where we no longer could be known as amateur emergency communication operators, but now we're amateur public service operators. New term, tightening up the terms at the league. We'll hear more about this soon. You can read about it in the current issue of June QST, a very nice article. Michael is a good friend of emergency communicators. Thank you, Michael Corey, for all your help. And thanks for listening to those of us that really miss having that big emergency sign on the side of our van or communications unit. All right, see everybody in 2 weeks. We're next week out of here, but we'll be back. Bob, back to you. Thanks, Dale, for these great shots.
All right. Well, we're going to go listen to a word right now from George. He's going to talk about ICOM.
You may have seen it at Dayton, but we've got the scoop on ICOM's new RP5000 and RP6000 series. This VHF-UHF FM repeater is your new analog solution. Debuted at last year's Boy Scouts National Scout Jamboree at the Summit in West Virginia. Now they're available to the public for amateur use, so contact your authorized ICOM dealer for details and programming options. The rugged RP5000 RP6000 covers amateur frequencies in a compact 2-unit slot in a 19-inch rack. It leaves plenty of room for duplexers and other repeater components. The RP5000 on VHF from 144 to 148 MHz, and the RP6000 is UHF 430 to 450 MHz. They feature a front-firing speaker and a mic jack, and it promotes repeater or local control radio use. Perfect for portable INCOM use. ICOM's superior receiver performance offers excellent selectivity and intermodulation, and it improves repeater service quality even under congested band conditions. The repeaters employ a plus or minus 0.5 parts per million oscillator and high-performance power amplifier, stable 100% duty cycle operation at 25 watts, and 50% duty cycle at a full 50 watts of power output. Additional features include DTMF encoder and decoder, DTMF remote control capability, and a sub-D 25-pin accessory port. And if you're looking for a digital solution, check out ICOM's D-Star repeaters and complete your D-Star infrastructure with ICOM's Buy Direct program. Visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM's RP5000 6000 series. And you can enter to win great prizes from the ICOMSwagStore.com each week after Ham Nation. Go to ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation, throw your name in the hat, and you can win some great prizes like hats, T-shirts, a lot of different things there. But not only that, you'll also be registered for the May Grand Prize drawing. And that's going to be the ICOM ID 51A, a full-featured dual-watch VHF-UHF handheld with D-Star, integrated GPS, advanced repeater list-up, and a lot more. So go to ICOMAmerica.com/HamNation after the show this evening and get your name in the drawing. Well, you know, we just got back from Dayton, and I'm totally ashamed of myself. I only spent $5. As a matter of fact, I spent more on this cold I brought home than I did there. But thanks to Tommy, he and I went in together, and we scored the mother load and totally redeemed ourselves. A bag of golden PL259s here. No, we're not going to use that on our coax. We're going to do something else with these, but that's the biggest thing I brought home. So next year I got to do better, but I'm going to CPAC next month, and I'm going to try to make up for a little bit of this. Just want to mention the D-Star Net tonight's going to be a special. Dave is in Panama City, Florida, and he's going to be with the Panama City Amateur Radio Club tonight, and they're going to do the D-Star Net from there on Reflector 14 Module C after the show tonight. Now, we had a lot of fun in Dayton, and, you know, there's no way we could bring it all here. I think I brought back 3.5 hours of video myself, but we do have a little clip here with Leo from the Tech Guy show we did on Saturday afternoon.
The reason we honor hams each year at this time with HamVention on this show is because so much of the technology industry we talk about was created by hams. From Steve Wozniak, who got his license in 6th grade. I just talked to Jeff Pulver, the man who really promoted voice on the internet and created Vonage. He was a ham from the earliest times. And like you, Bob, he says his college education came really at an amateur radio, sitting in a radio. That's where he learned everything that he knew about programming and about computers and about radio itself. So it's a great hobby, and I'm glad to hear it's still flying high.
Oh, it is. So we're very blessed to be able to present amateur radio to a vast public that really didn't know about it. I know personally that this weekend I've had over 40, 45 people that have come to me telling me they got interested in or reinterested because of Leo Laporte and your network and, of course, the Ham Nation show. Thank you very much for all that you do for amateur radio, W6TWT.
That's my call sign. Bob and Gordo, George and Valerie are some of the hosts. They have more hosts on that show than any show on our entire network. But they're 4 of the many hosts who host Ham Nation every week on our network. Now, one of the traditions in the ham radio field is to gather contacts with other hams, and you often will ask them for a QSL card. We're just going to, this is a great opportunity with 20,000 hams in Dayton for all the hams listening at home on the radio to get as many contacts as they can right now. So get your logbook out and your pen ready. And guys, would you ask everybody in the audience to just shout their call sign out as loud as they can? And I'm going to write these down here.
All right, Leo, be sure and write all these call signs, 750,000 plus hams. Here we go, not all at once. Call signs, 1, 2, 3.
Did you get that?
I got one. I got a W. I heard a W for sure.
Heard a W.
So there you go. Just a little bit of the fun we had at HamVention this year. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we had Randy Hall on here, and he was talking about connecting his iPhone to his ICOM and doing some digital modes. So this week, we're going to follow up with Randy's part 2 on that series.
Hello, Randy, K7AG. I'm back with another video segment for Ham Nation. I thought I'd be doing some soldering, but I have to do some planning first. I've been playing around with slow scan TV on my iPhone and my iPad, and I want to interface it to a couple ICOM HDs I have. I have a V80 and a T70, so I need some type of interface to go between the two. So before we start soldering, we have to do some planning. So let's take a look at some of the plans and some of the ideas I have, and in the next video I'll actually do some soldering. So let's take a closer look. So I needed a iPhone interface, so I did what most hams do. We Google things and we look on eBay. So I did a search on eBay for an iPhone interface, and I found this posting for the Easy Digi PSK interface for the iPhone and iPad. So I bought one. So this is the interface that I received. I had ordered this for my FT817, and later on I changed my ideas of using the phones with the ICOM HTs. So this gave me a start, and I wanted to see what made this special for the iPhone. One thing is the 4-circuit plug, but there's some other things that we need to check out as well. Okay, here's the schematic that came with the Easy Digi interface. It shows the 4-circuit iPhone connection. The first 2 circuits are the audio out for your headphone, your left and your right. Your next one is ground, which is kind of odd. The one closest to the body is the audio input for the mic. And one of the tricks you have to do with the iPhone is connect about 5.7 or maybe 4.7K resistance from the mic connector to ground. And this tells the iPhone to use an external microphone. Otherwise, you can't feed any audio into this. Here's another document I found that shows the same thing. Here's the ground and the microphone connection through a 4.7K resistor to ground for it to use the external audio in. So here he's feeding audio in through a capacitor. The resistor tells the phone, go ahead and use the external microphone. And here's the trick down here with the transformer with a 4.7, the same as what's on the Easy Digi interface. And I also found the similar documentation on the Black Cat Systems webpage. These are the people who write the SSTV app for the iPhone, iPad, and it's also saying the same thing. So here's my ICOM V80HT that I want to use with my interface to my iPhone, and one of the things I have to do is push to talk. Well, these radios, this and the T70, both have built-in Vox. But what I found out is that I can't make it work. I press the enable or the function and the Vox, nothing happens. So, back to Google, back to searching the world to find out what the trick is to make this work. So here's a drawing I found which shows an ICOM plug that goes into the speaker mic, and on the small pin here, on the small connectors, where the microphone audio input and the push to talk, and if I had a switch, I go push to talk by switching a resistance value to ground. So here is the audio out, and it has this control pin. Now, I did some hunting around, and I find that some of the microphones with multiple buttons on there actually switch different resistors to ground, and I thought, okay, maybe there's a way to trick this thing in order to turn on the Vox. Now, after a lot of searching with Google, both looking for web pages and also images is very handy sometimes, I found this fellow's hand-drawn, posted schematic of some type of interface that he was building for a T70. Okay, I have one of those. Looks like even some Japanese characters here. And so this shows you know, the microphone with a push-to-talk and a speaker. And it looks like he was doing something that he wanted to feed a line level in as well as a microphone. So he shows that wired up here to the microphone plug. But on the speaker plug on this control pin, I just see that he's got two 100K resistors to ground. I thought, oh, okay, is this what it takes to put the radio into Vox mode? Okay, as an experiment, I've soldered the 47K ohm resistor across the two pins, two connections on the connector here. So if I plug it in, it changes mode on the radio, go back to VFO mode. And now if I press function and Vox, you notice right over here, it's really tiny, but the Vox symbol lights up. Function Vox off, function Vox on. So we know the two tricks now. One is the 47K ohm resistor from the mic pin to ground on the phone to make it accept the external microphone, and the 47K resistor from the pin to the ground on the radio to enable Vox. So here's the Easy Digi interface I bought off of eBay. This is where KF5 INZ, India Nancy Zulu, sells all of his sound card interfaces. Now, this one was $36.95. Now, I have no connection with Easy Digi or anything. I just found these on the internet, looking around on eBay. Now, he sells all different types, also including a little kit, which is a board and all the parts for $9.95. So here's my Altoids can. If I open this up, I actually have both kits inside. So here's a bag with a complete kit, and here's a circuit board, and here's a little bag of all the components, a couple transformers, resistors, a diode or two. Here's the printed circuit board. Let me zoom in here. It's nice, it's silk screen, comes with the opto isolator stuck in through the holes. This looks like the soldering is going to be a quick job. You have a couple cutouts here, so you can have some mounting screws to hold it. So you can see I'll have lots of room here in the Altoids can. To mount this, I have lots of height. I can put a hole on each end, run the wires in, and have my little iPhone to ICOM radio interface for slow scan TV. Well, I'm sorry we've run out of time in this video. No soldering for right now. Many times the planning takes longer than the actual building. This is going to build real quick, but I've learned how to make the iPhone accept external audio, the trick with the resistor. Another trick with the resistor on the ICOM HT to allow it to use Vox, because I need the Vox in order to key the transmitter. I've bought a couple sound card interfaces, the Easy Digi off of eBay. I have no affiliation with them. I bought a couple kits from them and one interface. I know it's all going to fit in the Altoids can, and now I'm ready to get to work, get the soldering iron out, and let's get some smoke going. So next video, we'll do some soldering. Thank you much. Thanks for watching. Randy, K7AGE 73.
I know how you feel, Randy. No soldering, but that's okay. He'll be back in a couple of weeks and continue on with that project there. That looks like a lot of fun. You know, last week I showed you this Diamond K400C mobile antenna mount for a trunk lid or a lip on your vehicle. It's got the SO239 connector to fit any of those great Diamond antennas on there, some mini coax, and the connector on the end you see is a PL259, but that screws off, and there's a little connector up under there you could use for an extension. And I ask you, you can see the size comparison here, what is this connector? And a lot of people said it was a TNC connector, which was kind of going to be my guess too, but I looked it up. And our winner was Benji Gibson, KX4SLX. KK4SLX. I need thicker glasses. He said the connector is a mini UHF connector. So congratulations, Benji. We're going to send this out to you. So next week, we've got a great prize here. This comes from Heil Sound, and you've seen this before probably. It's a USB-Q. It's a USB adapter for your computer. It's got a USB port here on the end. Plug it into your XLR microphone. Then you got a cable, USB cable, just straight to your computer. That's your whole audio interface. It's also got a headphone output on it. It's got a volume for the headphones, a gain for the microphone, and a couple of things you don't see on the other interfaces. It's got a bass and a treble, or labeled low and high here, so you can adjust your equalization. Great little device here. Perfect for your laptop. When you want to get a good high-quality microphone sound into it, don't use the sound card that's built in it. Use one of these, and if you'd like to win that, then answer this. And this is a pretty simple one. You should be able to look it up. Who was the chairman of this year's HamVention? If you think you know the answer, send me your answer to hamnationcontest@gmail.com, and you could win this Heil USB-Q. And right now, I think we need to go check in with Don and see what's going on in the news.
From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 1918, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, May 21st, 2014. Dayton 2014 has been front and center for the past week, but that wasn't the only thing happening in the amateur radio universe. The latest issue of the IARU Region 1 Monitoring System newsletter reports on action by UK telecommunications regulator Ofcom's Baldock monitoring station. This against an intruder in the 10 megahertz band. Skeeter Nash, N5ASH, picks up the story.
The report credits Peter Jost, HB9CET, as finding illegal fishery traffic on 10.123 MHz USB daily. After receiving the report, the Radio Society of Great Britain's Intruder Watch Coordinator, Chris Cummings, G4BOH, asked the Baldock monitoring station for assistance. As a result, the British Coast Guard contacted the offenders to tell them that their phone traffic was illegal. A few days later, the frequency was clear.
Good news for ham radio on primetime network television. Last Man Standing, the hit situation comedy that stars Tim Allen as an outdoor store marketing manager who's also a ham, has been renewed for a fourth season for 22 new episodes. This according to co-executive producer John Amadeo, N6JA. Allen's character, Tim Baxter, KA0XTT, has a ham station in his office as well as his basement at home, and both are often seen in background shots. Amateur radio has already played a significant part in 2 episodes so far, and a number of the show's staff have become licensed radio amateurs since the show began. Last Man Standing airs Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on the ABC television network. Canada's most famous astronaut is now a professionally recognized photographer. Chris Hadfield, VA3OOG, has been awarded an Honorary Service of Photographic Arts designation by the Professional Photographers of Canada for his photos from space. Once Hadfield had returned to Earth, members of the organization began a campaign to give tribute to his work. Hadfield said he was honored by the designation that was bestowed in recognition of contributions made to photography in Canada. The launch of AMSAT's Fox 1 ham radio satellite will now take place in 2015. Again, Skeeter Nash, N5ASH.
Fox 1 was originally manifested to be carried to orbit from Vandenberg Air Force Base this December. But due to what is being termed as governmental priorities, Fox 1 will likely launch in the summer of 2015. This delay is mixed news for AMSAT. While it is disappointed that this will keep Fox 1 from reaching space this year, it also means that the organization has more time to complete and test the spacecraft prior to delivery.
Some better news from the UK. This with word from the FunCube team that it's received confirmation that the FunCube 2 payload remains scheduled for a Soyuz launch June 19th. Those involved in the project don't yet have any liftoff times or orbital data, but will make those available as soon as possible. It's believed that immediately after deployment and activation that the UCube-1 host vehicle will start transmitting a CW beacon, and that this will be later followed by an AX-25 1200 BPSK beacon. Both of these will be on 145.840 megahertz. The FunCube 2 payload, with its telemetry downlink for educational outreach, is expected to be tested at a later date. And before we go, another reminder that the nominating period for the 2014 Newsline Young Ham of the Year award is now open. You'll find full details and a nominating form on the Newsline website. We hope to see you in Alabama in August for the presentation at the Huntsville Ham Fest. And that's all from Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news, brought to you each and every week for over 35 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. So I'm sitting here. Hi, everybody. I'm looking at the DX DX Engineering catalog. This is the latest one, brand new and released at Dayton. And they've got everything in here for everything you need to operate ham radio. They've got radios, and they've got antennas and everything else. But the most important part of the whole thing is on the last 3 pages, because I don't care what kind of antenna you've got or what kind of antenna or what kind of radio you got. You're going to need cables and connectors to hook the doggone things up. And that's the most important thing. And that's what I want to talk about. Coax. DX Engineering carries a ton of coax, and it's really easy to get the right one for your shack and your budget. It's all fully high-pot tested, well-suited for amateur radio applications. You want the good stuff, the 400 max low-loss cable. It's gas-injected, foam dielectric insulator wrapped in a bonded tape foil, tinned copper shield, and finally, a durable jacket for outside use. It's even direct buriable and UV resistant. The 8U cable has amazing efficiency. It's great for indoor use or in sheltered areas away from sunlight, but be careful. This cable is no longer spec'd by the military, so the quality of cable from other manufacturers might vary, but make sure you're getting the best cable by getting it from DX Engineering. You want the 8X, the Mini 8? That's my choice. Check out DX Engineering's 8X cable. It's extremely flexible, makes it great for short in-shack jumper cables. The small size also means you're not going to have to drill big holes in your walls if you're passing it between rooms or to the outside. And it's good stuff for HF applications as well if you got a fairly short run. Maybe running a coax line outside to a remote tower. Look at the 213U. It's non-contaminating, UV resistant, direct burial as well. And I want to show you something. This is all available either in bulk or, look at this, pre-assembled links. I got home from Dayton, and I got this box. My wife said, "My God, what did you order from DX?" I said, "I didn't order anything." They sent me this to show you. Like here, this is, I put my glasses on. This is probably either 8X or 213, but it's really good stuff. And all of the coax connectors are all on there really nicely good. That is silver Teflon. It's good stuff. It's all heat shrunk and everything else. Here, you want BNCs? You got BNCs right here too. BNC to BNC. You want to hook a piece of test equipment or something up? And all kinds of lengths, 12 feet, 25 feet. You want the big stuff? They got the big stuff. They got the 400. They got, I mean, it's all really good stuff. And look, this is let me get this out of the way. This is the coolest part right here. Let me get this where I can see. Okay, you got that on one end, and look at this. Lugs on the other end. And look at the job they did just on the shrink wrap alone. This is high quality stuff, people. You want something good, you're going to go to DX Engineering. I guarantee that. I'm just, man, the more I'm around Tim Duffy and those guys, just the more I'm just impressed with everything they do. You want to grab any of this gear, Get it in by 10 o'clock Eastern. If it's in stock, DX Engineering will throw that stuff on a truck. It'll head your way tonight. Proven products, expert advice, the fastest shipping in the industry. Oh, you need Anderson power poles? You need stuff to put all this stuff together to roll your own? It's all there, too. DX Engineering, helping you shrink the globe. Get your catalog. Shop online 24/7. DXengineering.com/HamNation. DX Engineering, thank you so much for your support of Ham Nation. We're going to go talk to Dale. Let me show you what I got at Dayton real quick. It's gold, too, George, but... it's a little bit different. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Oh. And it came in a kit. I got to put this thing together. I wish I could, if I had my Allen wrench, I would take the top off this and show you that. But go to AmericanMorse.com, I believe it is, and look for the Bushwhacker. The Bushwhacker single lever paddle. This thing, they got some cool stuff. American Morse. No, I didn't get this free. I paid for it. So anyway, there you go. Good, folks. So, Dale, what do we got tonight from you, sir? Good to see you in Dayton, by the way, Dale.
A lot of excitement, Don. Thanks a lot.
That hat.
Information about DX Engineering. And tonight, Dan, N9LVS, brings us a Dayton HamVention overview. Gordo explores the Innov Antennas booth, and Ham Nation at Dayton comes up last. We'll jump right in now with Dan's overview.
Dayton HamVention 2014, held May 16th through the 18th. Dayton HamVention is sponsored by the Dayton Amateur Radio Association. The crowds were very large when the doors opened at 9 a.m. Friday morning, and Audio Alley was packed as well. ARRL was celebrating their 100th birthday. At 12 o'clock on Friday, Bob, Gordo, George, Don, and Val took the stage for the Ham Nation Forum. The Ham Nation booth was kept very busy with volunteers as far away as New Zealand. The W5YI group booth was also very busy, and Gordo was signing autographs. ICOM had a huge display, showing off all their radios, including the new ICOM 5100 and the new ICOM 7100. Yaesu was showing off all our radios, including the FT1200 and the FT9000. Kenwood also had their radios on display, including the new TS990. Highgain had their great line of antennas and rotors, as well as Force 12 and IAC, and including Tar Heel antennas. There was a wide variety of dealers there as well, from DX Engineering, Ham Radio Outlet, and R&L Electronics. And lest we not forget the Wireman. And then there's our Finder, with a neat little app for your phone that'll help you find the local repeaters. And then there's the Pieces Parts guys, like Tower Electronics, who not only has a booth inside, but one outside as well. And Debco, who has a wide variety of pieces parts as well. And manufacturers from all over the world, from MFJ in the United States, with all kinds of ham radio accessories, to Bagali from Italy, with some of the best CW keys you've ever seen. You can also find a lot of unique things, like the Enigma machine from World War II. And again, Tom Medlin, W5KUB, was streaming from HamVention. And Ted Randall was broadcasting his QSO show right from the convention. And let's not forget the coffee from the Unseen Bean, including his Contesters blend. And what would Dayton be without grabbing a quick t-shirt? And then you have the flea market, where you'll find the small upstarts that are just starting out and wanting to show you their new product they came up with. There's also places you can find any gadget and gadgets you can possibly think of. Everything from a unique connector to something that'll hold your multimeter. And let's not forget the vintage radios, or sometimes referred to as boat anchors. And then we get to Sunday morning, where things start to quiet down a little bit, and people start thinking what's going to happen next year at HamVention 2015.
Well, thanks, Dan. We appreciate that overview. You know, I didn't see Dan carrying a video camera at Dayton, so I asked him how'd he come up with the video. It seems he left his video camera at home. So being a resourceful ham, he shot it with his LG smartphone and then took it home and edited it with Adobe Premiere. So worked out real nice. Shows what you can do with the smartphones today. Well, antennas are every amateur radio operator's dream, and some are absolutely amazing. Let's join Gordo with the inventor of the outstanding low-noise Innov antennas.
Hey, Dale, we are here at a great ham fest, Dayton HamVention, one of the most packed conventions I've seen here in years. Let's check up and see what's happening at Innov Antennas. Come on. Hey, I have one of those antennas. We're with Justin, G0KSC, founder and designer of Innov Antennas. Now, Justin, where'd you get this idea to come up with a unique feed system with low noise on your antenna?
Well, for me, I had a big noise problem at home, like a lot of people do in the middle of suburbia. So I couldn't find a design that was very low noise that was going to allow me to hear what I wanted to work. So I set about playing with design of Yagi antennas that were going to be low noise.
Wow, so you have like a null at the low end of the antenna down low?
Yeah, what we do is we optimize so that the antenna is much more like a torch beam. Try to reduce front to back, the front to rear, and also reduce the lobes underneath the Yagi so that you're not picking up noise from underneath the shack.
So Justin, how in the world do you get rid of noise below the main lobe?
Well, with the LFA Yagi, we have a rectangular loop which lays flat on the boom between the reflector and the director elements. And using this method, we can remove the matching device off of the Yagi itself, and we can optimize using computer the side lobes to reduce those in both the elevation and the azimuth plane. And this makes for a very, very quiet antenna. So we just receive signal from where we're pointing the antenna and not from unwanted locations like underneath where the shack might be located, for example.
Wow, and how long did it take you to design your first antenna? You've been doing it for some time.
Yeah, sure. Well, it was something that was done over many, many months and many builds and tests and remodels. And what I did is I produced a website. I put some of those designs on, which are still there on g0ksc.co.uk for people to self-build. And you then have a user forum that's worldwide that's saying, this is great, it would be good if it did this, and kind of honed the designs over a number of years, really.
Wow. Well, Chip and I both use your 6-meter, and wow, Chip hears stuff, and I hear stuff that we could never hear before on 6, thanks to you. Any last words of wisdom to our Ham Nation viewers about your great Innov antennas, Justin?
Well, it's really worthwhile taking a look on the internet when making a choice and get some reviews. eHam is a great place for that, to look at what people have been using. And really, if you're in a place or a position where noise is a real big problem, there's a number of different places that you can look for those, and Innov Antennas is one of those. And G0KSC site, if you want to self-build, is a great place to look also.
Thank you, Justin, for bringing a great design and a great antenna over here. Thanks so much, and back to you, Dale.
Thanks, Gordo, and what amazing antennas. Speaking of amazing, though, did you notice Gordo didn't have a mic cable there on that PR22 he was using? We were using the Bluetooth HBA from Heil Sound, and that is amazing. No tripping the bystanders every time you try to shoot a video. Well, Ham Nation invaded the Dayton HamVention in grand style last weekend, and we need to especially thank the volunteers who manned the booth at during the show. Now, let's take a look now at the highlights of the Ham Nation participation. Ham Nation played a big part at the 2014 Dayton HamVention. The forum was a big hit and played to a standing room only crowd. How many hams does it take to set up the audio equipment for the forum? Well, here's Dan in 9LVS, adjusting the mixers, Dave at KA3JSD, Simon ZL7FAE, and George W5JDX. Look on. The professor was in. Here's Gordo, WA6NOA. He's greeting the crowd as the other Ham Nation hosts look on during the forum. There were dozens of questions from the audience. This young lady asked the Ham Nation team how old you had to be to become a ham. And Val in V9L, the Ham Nation contest and DX host, had the answer. Other volunteers manned the booth throughout HamVention. Left to right are Jim, KD9GY, Bill, K2WH, Herman, KF2DR, Ron, WA4CHI, Dom, N3DD, Dan, AC8NP, Newsline host Don Wilbanks in with the volunteers, AE5DW, and finally Simon, ZL7FAE. Scott, KD4EBL, wore the Ham Nation colors. Check out this bright purple bow tie. And there was plenty of time to visit old friends also. Here's Wiki editor Dan in 9LVS visiting with Don, AE5DW. And we all had to stop and pose for Ham Nation visitors who wanted to get that special snapshot to take home. Here's Bob, Gordo, and Val in Audio Alley. Here, Jeff in 3VE, one of the volunteers, meets 20-meter post-show net control operator Steve, W7UDI. An 8-year-old Christopher Blount missed getting his technician class license by only one question. Here he talks to Gordo and picks up some tips before taking the exam again on June 7th. And here's Christopher with Ham Nation's Don Wilbanks and his dad, Jocelyn, KD8VRX. And Christopher got to pose with Bob Heil, too. And finally, the highlight of HamVention for the Ham Nation hosts came Saturday afternoon when they appeared in front of more than 1 million listeners on Leo Laporte's weekly radio show, This Week in Tech. Well, thanks again to all the Ham Nation volunteers at Dayton that helped man that booth for the 3 days of the show. And a special thanks to Herman. He came all the way from Germany to HamVention. And Herman, I'm sorry about getting the KF instead of the DF in the call there, but it was late last night. And Simon, he flew in from New Zealand with a large suitcase with 3 suitcases inside it. So they've got the spirit. Well, that's a wrap for the video segment tonight. We're always looking for your videos and your shack photos. So it helps localize the segment and get everyone involved in Ham Nation. Just send them to Ham Nation Videos at twit.tv. But do make a quick pit stop first at hamnationvideos.info and take a look at the Ham Nation video guidelines before you shoot. Well, we're also out of new nominations for the club website of the week, so if you'd like to see that feature continue, please get those nominations on in to us. And what would you like to see on the video segment? Let us know. We'll try to make it happen. Well, that's it for tonight. Have a great week. We'll join George and Gordo for a last-minute check room check next. But first, let's check in with Don and find out about the latest from LegalZoom.
I can do that. You know, modern technology is great, but, you know, the old stuff is cool, too, like all this Morse code. I'm thinking I need some wire on this. That might be overkill. Well, let's talk about modern technology and leave the 100-year-old communication technology to the side. Let's talk about smartphones, iPads. There are a lot of gadgets that make it really easy to do so many things, but it doesn't seem like our lives are getting busier at the same time. Well, that's where LegalZoom comes in. When it comes to getting legal help, you need LegalZoom. They provide a great solution that will absolutely work with your busy schedule. Let's face it, the legal system is complicated. That's why lawyers go to school for so long. There are way better things that you can be doing with your time, and that, thankfully, is why LegalZoom is here. So if you're looking to start a business, form an LLC, get a trademark, a will, a living trust, LegalZoom will get the job done and done right. You get the personal attention you need. They will help you take care of all of the details. And they've been helping families and small business owners for 14 years. LegalZoom has an A+ from the Better Business Bureau as well. You need to call or visit LegalZoom today. Now, LegalZoom provides legal help through independent attorneys and self-help services, but is not a law firm. I want you to visit LegalZoom.com. Use the offer code HAMNATION to save on your legal needs and also get access to a network of legal plan attorneys for guidance. Don't put the things off you need to do. Go to LegalZoom.com right now or after the show. Use the offer code HAMNATION. LegalZoom.com, offer code HAMNATION. Receive $10 off at checkout. LegalZoom.com, offer code HAMNATION. LegalZoom, thank you so much for your support of Ham Nation. Now, let's see, what else do we have going on tonight? George, Gordo, what else do we have to do tonight? We've covered pretty much everything, I think. Well, not everything, because you can't cover Dayton in 2.5 days, and you certainly can't do it in a 1-hour show. But what have we missed?
the chat room, we weren't really watching the questions close enough. And Amanda's not here with us this week. She's running W1AW/0 tonight, net control over there. So I know that's a great honor for her. I did see someone ask in the chat room a minute ago, any chance of Bob coming out with a purple PR22 to match the HBA and the USBQ? And I probably shouldn't answer, but I know Bob has a custom shop where I think they'll paint almost anything, any color.
Yeah.
But not positive about that. I see Gordo's still in here with us. We missed a lot of stuff about HamVention. There's just not enough time to condense it into 1 hour, is it?
Well, you're absolutely right, George. You could not see all of the Dayton HamVention. Even if you had 3 full days, you'd spend that just on the inside. But tonight we'll be up on 40 meters over here on the West Coast, and I know you'll tell us where you're going to be on D-Star. Right now I show 7278 on the ICOM 9100. Let me turn up the volume. Yeah, sounds fairly clear, so hopefully we'll find our net controllers there. And again, thanks everyone for hanging in there with us. I know we started a little bit late, but better late than ever. And again, remember, on your emergency signs, you better mask them over with tape or something until we figure out what we're going to be called for real. But for me, I'm still going to stay as an emergency communicator, no matter what they say. George, back to you.
Gordo, anytime you show up in a tuxedo, it is a real emergency. I mean, it just, it really sets the mood. It's hard for the rest of us to keep up with that.
Perhaps even more so than my kilt.
Yes.
Your kilt was great.
Between those two, Dale and I just didn't have a chance. I tell you, Dale had the hat, but, you know, we just couldn't touch it.
Oh, no way. Couldn't keep up with him.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't.
That was great fun, though, shooting that video with Gordo and running around the flea market or the outside there with Gordo in the tux. And everybody stopped him for pictures about every 10 feet. So it was amazing. That was a great time there that afternoon. The sun finally came out almost after some rain earlier that day. So it was a great time all weekend.
Yeah, as I mentioned,
Dan, thank you so much for at the last minute. I said, come on, Dan, I got to go outside and get some still shots for short shots. And it was like, hey, no problem. So, again, he pulled a rabbit out of the hat. And Dale, thank you so much, Dale, for all you do for Ham Nation with your great video short shots. And Dan and the others, thanks for being there as well. Back to you, George. Thanks, Dale.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, Gordo. It was a lot of fun. Great fun.
I didn't really get a chance to get around like I wanted to. Once again, that always happens. You know, the first 2 days there was rainy and cold, which was different from last year. So we really couldn't do a lot on Friday and Saturday. Just sporadically you could go out there to the flea market, which is where I want to spend my time. Tommy and I only made it to the Mendelssohn's tent. And I got a few banana connectors out of there. Only $5 worth of stuff, though. And I didn't get to see anything else in the flea market. I tell you, just meeting all the great folks, fans of Ham Nation, and talking with them, you know, is a lot of fun. And we got a little bit more inside this year. Got to see a few more things in there. A lot of exciting stuff. If you can make it, even if you can't make it, you got to come to HamVention because it's the greatest ham fest in the world. And I'll be at CPAC next month. I'm going to try to make up a little bit for only spending $5 at HamVention. But, you know, we'll have to see how that goes. I'm going to be hanging out with Ray, though, so he'll probably be twisting my arm a little bit. Well, the 20-meter net tonight is going to be on 14.282. The D-Star net is on Reflector 14 Module C, and Dave is hosting that live from the Panama City Amateur Radio Club tonight. He couldn't make it to HamVention, but his family drug him down to Florida, so I think he was happy with that as well. And Echolink net, Star Dewdrop in Star node number 355800. Don, any last-minute words?
I think the best part of HamVention for me was seeing all of the international visitors. I mean, we had our friends coming from New Zealand and from Germany, and also the kids. I mean, you know, I've been involved with Newsline for 20 years now, and I got into Newsline by way of one of the Young Hams of the Year winners, and of course Andrew Koenig, KE5GDB, the 2009 winner, came with me and rode with us up to Dayton, and running into Christopher at the Ham Nation booth. And seeing the little 8-year-old girl asking, "What's the best age to get into ham radio?" And I asked her, "How old are you?" She says, "Hey, well, that's it. That's the perfect age." Just seeing the youth and all the international visitors is just I think the best for me. I just had the best time. I've been going for 15 years, and I just love HamVention. I just love it. George, back to you.
Yeah, it's a great event, and like I said a moment ago, you really need to get that on your bucket list if you've never been. Well, Dale, anything from the Yellow Brick Road?
Not too much. Just wanted to add, though, to Don's statement there. We were fortunate enough to run into Scott, the youngster from out in Colorado, who Randy, K7AGE, is teaching to be a videographer, and that was great meeting him, George. Go ahead.
Well, thanks, Dale. And it was great running into you again there, too, in Dayton. Gordo, Mr. Tuxedo, give us a final wrap there, if you would.
All right. Well, the best part of Dayton for me, and I think everyone, was the camaraderie of the hams and the 100+ DARA volunteers.
Yes.
Non-paid volunteers that worked for a year to pull it off. 23,000+ hams. DARA, you can now go, and on to 2015. Thanks, Dayton Amateur Radio Association, for another memorable HamVention. All right, 73, everyone. We're on 72, 78. I'll be on in about a half hour from now. So if you've got comments on the league's proposal to take the word emergency out of ham radio, emergency comms, let's talk about it. 73, and we'll see everybody in a couple weeks in Nevada. Back to you, George. I'm on 72, 78 now.
Okay, Gordo. We'll meet you there. And, yeah, definitely a great event. We met so many people there. And Tommy and I brought back a lot of video. I'll be posting that around the internet in weeks to come, and we'll let you know where you can find that. Well, thanks for joining us on Ham Nation tonight. Sorry we're a little bit late, but, hey, we're here nevertheless. And we'll be back next week with another great show. Not sure what all we're doing just yet, but we'll be working that up this week. And join us then, won't you? 73.
73.